Hi everybody, this is lesson 14, and in this lesson we're going to be labeling unit fractions on the number line. So if you look at the sample up here, or the first one I guess it is, we have to make a number bond and then we're going to label it on the number line. Notice that it says to include 0 unit fractions, and I'll show you what that means. So the first one is halves, so they broke it in to the two pieces that make up a half. So when I go to mark that on my number line, I have my starting point, which is 0. We call that 0 halves. Then, if you notice over here, this is the full thing. So in between here has to be 1 half, and over here we call it 2 halves. We have 2 pieces out of a total of 2, which makes the whole thing. So really this should be right above that whole number 1. Okay? So if it doesn't make sense, try this next one and see if this helps a little bit more. So this one is thirds. So how many sections do I need in my number bond? I need 3, 1 for each third. So I'm going to label each one 1/3, and it helps to just write the fraction first and then draw the circle around the fraction, because sometimes I do it and I don't have enough room. Okay, so each one of these is a third. The 3 of them together make the whole thing. So now if you notice, I've got 1, 2, 3 sections already marked on my number line. So I'm going to label each one of those. This is 0 thirds. From here to here is 1/3. Then from 0 to here would be 2 thirds. And from 0 to the end would be my 3 thirds. So each tick mark on the number line, I'm adding 1 more third to my top spot, my numerator. My denominator always stays the same because no matter what I'm labeling these, I still only have 3 sections. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is fourths. So I'm going to have 4 sections on my number bond. And each one is labeled 1/4. Oh boy. Okay, so now I have to label each one of those on the number line. So again, I'm going to start with 0/4. From 0 to the first tick mark is going to be 1/4. From 0 here, I'm hopping 1, 2/4, so this is going to be my 2/4 spot. Here I'm hopping 1, 2, 3/4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4/4. 4/4 makes the whole. And if you look at this, all of our fractions at 1 have the same numerator and denominator. That's how you know we're talking about the whole thing. When the numerator and denominator are the same number, that means we're talking about a whole. Alright, let's go to the back side. Now we've got fifths, so I need 5 sections. Oh my gosh. Each one is 1/5. And you notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections on the number line. So here we go. Let's label them. 0/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So that numerator goes up by 1 each time, but the denominator stays the same. All right. Hopefully you're seeing kind of a pattern coming out there. All right, so now we have 2 word problems where we're probably going to use our number line, huh? Number 2 says Trevor needs to let his puppy outside every quarter or 1/4 of an hour to potty train him. So a quarter hour is the same as 1/4 of an hour. Label this number line from 0 hours to 1 hour to show every 1/4 hour. Include 0/4 and 4/4 hour. All right, so right here is going to be 0 hours. And at the end is going to be 1 hour. And since we're talking about fourths, I'm going to divide my number line into 4 equal sections. Always like to mark it in half and then break those 2 halves in half. So we know from our previous experience with fourths, we're going to have 0 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, and 4 fourths. That's it. So on these lines are when the dog has to go out to be potty trained. Okay, last one. A ribbon is 1 meter long. Mrs. Lee wants to sew a bead every 1/5 meter, starting at 1/5 meter. The last bead is at the 1 meter point. Label the number line from 0 meters to 1 meter to show where Mrs. Lee will sew in a bead. Label all the fractions, including 0/5 and 5/5. Okay, so same kind of idea here. We're going to call this 0 meters. At the end is 1 meter. Now I have to try to break this into 5 equal sections. So do your best to make those even. Mine aren't so even. Close enough. Alright, so when we're labeling fifths, we start with 0/5, then we go to 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. Okay, so go ahead and try your homework. This lesson was really just about trying to find where the fractional pieces are on the number line and how to actually label them. Don't forget to label your 0 point and your 1 full point with the 0 fourths and 4 fourths, or 0/5 and 5/5, whatever the fraction ends up being on your homework. That's important. All right, have fun. Bye.